Did you know that Russia literally sold Alaska to the United States? And when they did this, it made America a superpower? But why did they sell it? Is it because they simply didn't care about Alaska? Or was there something more to it? And what does this all mean today? Russia had ruled over Alaska for over a century, but by the mid-19th century, they had big problems at home. The Russian Empire was vast, but most of its people lived in just a few areas around the area of modern-day Moscow. Alaska was extremely isolated from the rest of their empire and extremely difficult to administer. Alaska was also a drain on the Russian economy, and they needed money. By selling Alaska, they could focus on improving the lives of the people who actually lived within their empire. So Alaska was up for sale. America saw an opportunity to grow its territory. By buying Alaska, they would go from being a small regional power to a true global power. The U.S. purchased Alaska from the Russians for $7.2 million in 1867. At the time, no one really knew how valuable Alaska was. We now know that it was an absolute steal for America. Today, Alaska is a major geopolitical advantage for the United States. Alaska is bigger than Texas, and it contains massive amounts of oil and gas. This makes Alaska a key strategic military advantage for the United States. If America ever needed to project power in Asia, they could do so easily through Alaska. China would have no choice but to respect American power if they attempted to do anything in the region. To make matters even better for the United States, they own the majority of the continental shelf in the Arctic Ocean. This gives them access to even more oil and gas, as well as rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals are a group of 17 elements that are extremely important in today's world. They're used in everything from fighter jets to electric cars. China controls the vast majority of the world's rare earth mineral production. So if America can mine these minerals themselves, it will reduce their dependence on foreign nations. But why did Russia sell Alaska to America? Russia had been losing territory to the West for decades. In 1841, Russia sold all of its territory west of the Rocky Mountains to the United States. This left them with only a tiny sliver of land along the Pacific coast. Russia was worried that if they didn't do something, then sooner or later they would be pushed all the way back to Siberia. By selling Alaska to America, they created a buffer zone between their main territories and the growing U.S. Furthermore, Russia had been humiliated by the Crimean War. In the war, an alliance led by Britain and France defeated Russia. This showed that Russia wasn't as powerful as they thought they were. Alaska was too much of a burden to hold on to, so they sold it to America to focus on their domestic problems. Boy, did this backfire. Russia's biggest geopolitical problem today is that they are surrounded by NATO countries. If they had never sold Alaska, then NATO wouldn't have been able to gain a foothold in the Pacific, and Russia wouldn't feel so threatened. So why did America buy Alaska? Well, it seemed like a good deal at the time, and it gave them access to new resources and new markets. But the real reason was that America was following in the footsteps of their forefathers. From the beginning, the United States was a nation built on expansionism. They also went to war with Mexico and took a large chunk of their territory. Manifest destiny was the belief that it was God's will for the United States to expand across the continent. While this ideology isn't as popular today, the idea of expanding U.S. territory still has some appeal. Buying Alaska was a huge mistake from Russia's point of view. They not only lost a ton of money, but they also lost a valuable piece of their country. However, it was a brilliant move from America's point of view. They got a ton of new land for relatively cheap, and it boosted their economy and their military power. If you want to learn more about how the world order is changing, then stay tuned. Now watch why Russia won't attack the United States, or click this other video instead.